So the player goes out, recruits 3 NPCs, have them move in. The player then, or the NPC then says, "Okay, well I'm the mayor, and I'm going to need you 3 to start focusing on stuff and doing things, because and guess what? You NPCs are going to be involved in the growth of this community. So this NPC is the mayor, has to stay in charge. He picks this NPC and says, "Hey, well I need a farmer." And then he looks at another NPC and says, "Well, I need somebody to build." And then looks at the third NPC and says, "I need somebody to sell stuff, so I need a salesman, a market." And as a result, those NPCs would come in. They're going to move into their hovels and then would proceed to start developing that type of infrastructure for the community. So once those 3 are picked up, the mayor NPC could then go out again, or the shopkeeper could go out and recruit more NPCs. The builder would go about and start building more hovels to add or to have more NPCs move into. And so, like the farmer would find a piece of land, so maybe he goes out to, say, here, because he would also have a road built out to help him reach the piece of land. Because also, if the road is connected to the mayor's house and to the message boards, to this community, information would hopefully pass along this road. I don't know, that's an aspect of gameplay which I think it could work out. I'm not trying to think about how it could work, but anyways, so the farmer comes out here and says, okay, so 1 piece of land equals 1 person. So starts, since there's 4 people to begin with, starts making 4 little pieces. And that farmer can then decide, okay, do I want to upgrade these pieces of land so I'm producing more food and support more of a population, or do I want to keep this small piece? So that has its ups and downs about what to do with that. The shopkeeper is his main purpose is to acquire goods needed by the community. And the thing is, a hovel can really only handle 1 person. So the builder and the shopkeeper would have to start working together to basically acquire resources, tools, and the builder would have to then start upgrading the structures. But so conceivably, I'm thinking that they first have to send out or recruit more NPCs, and those would fill in various roles. So I'm thinking by this point, well, they're trying to make a community. They have the basics, food, building, and supply. So now they can look into, okay, well now we need a soldier, or a warrior type who can fight for us. Maybe get a herbologist, or some sort of hospital type medical doctor guy, and then whatever else I'll think of more as I go along. So that increases the community. Oops. And what I should say is, so the road goes on like that. So they decide, okay, well, let's just keep building and building, adding NPCs, adding, because also as you build, you are going to require more infrastructure, more stuff happening within. and you're going to want roads to help connect. You don't have to have the roads, but it just makes things look nice, and whatever sort of mechanic within the gameplay will decide, like, oh well, no, this needs to happen first before that can happen. And so okay, so now you're beginning to see a community develop. Now, by this point, they're going to be tired of living in hovels, and if they haven't been disturbed, stuff hasn't, rebels haven't come along and destroyed the place. Because also, the bigger the community gets, the more attention it will attract from outside influences, and also it would attract bandits and whoever else. So, and don't forget that other players could come along and say, oh hey, let's go mess around in this place. And then also, by this point, the player could say, hey, well, I want to do something as well, or I want to be involved in this as well. So the mayor has, by this point, says, okay, well, we've reached a critical mass. It's now time to expand. It's now time to change the layout of this community and have a different focus on what is going to happen, and what these different structures are going to be, and what's going to be involved in them. So the mayor says, okay, well, instead of a little 2x3 house, I want a 2x4 house. And so the same for the let's see. Well, okay, so that means this whole aspect is going to change, and they can demolish these structures and create new structures. So they decide, okay, well, this is going to be the new city hall. And the shop owner says, well, this is going to be the shop. And the builder says, this is going to be my shop. And, well, might as well have a defensive arrangement going on. So this will become the new barracks. So this becomes the new mayor's house. The shop owner lives in his shop. The builder lives in his house. The soldiers live in their barracks. But the other people are going to need places to live as well. So you could say, hey, maybe the farmer decides to move in here. Because the other aspect is that since the farmer moves into a larger house, or into a larger living arrangement, so it's no longer going to be a hovel, it'll be, and conceivably it could stay the 2x3, but then it's going to require resources. So another thing that's going to happen is that you're going to have to hire a laborer or a forester, a lumberjack guy to go out and harvest your resources for you. So for the heck of it, I'll say that Mr. Big Shot Mayor gets a big house, but everybody else gets a nice house, but everybody else gets these little small houses. And the design of the houses, I think, would be based on player preference. So if a player says, I want my building structures to look this way, he can get that. Or he can design that and add that to what's available within the game. And how exactly that's going to play out, well, we'll see. But as you can see, a community starts growing out of this.